Virgo, welcome to your March reading. Okay, on the 7th, Saturn will move into Pisces, which is, for Virgo risings, right across from you in your house of relationships. Virgo sun, you'll feel these effects in some of the same ways, so I'm gonna group you guys in together for a moment. Virgo moon, you can have at this too. So, Saturn, what's that energy? What does that bring to relationships? Well, for someone who is quite picky and disciplined for the most part, I don't think Saturn works quite the same way. With most of us, it shows us reality that we don't want to see. For you, you see it. You know. You feel it. Your unhappiness is palpable to you. Saturn comes in and says, why are we pretending that everything is fine? Saturn says, I see what you're doing, and you see what you're doing. So this makes it pretty easy to give you a recipe to win. I'm not saying the next 3 years will be completely painless, but where most people get stuck with Saturn, I think you can make easy progress, actually. All it requires from you is some honesty with yourself. All those ways where you pretend, it's not going to let you do that. All those ways in which you pretend to be okay with things that are happening in your love life, with how you feel inside, irrespective of what's going on, your feelings have been changing as well. Saturn sees you see all this in yourself. So it doesn't have to come in and have some, come to God moment with you. It kind of just comes in and says, wouldn't it be better to just win instead of pretend to win? And that's not really logic you can argue with. It will have that Piscean tinge, You are on that axis of healing and self-sacrifice. So, of course, there's that element of, this is going to hurt a little bit. But it's better for everyone is the sentiment that really settles your spirit. Because the reason you don't want to upend things is because it's easier to pretend not for you, but for the people around you. And so in this way, Saturn is a great ally to you because it says, why are we pretending for these people? These people aren't as important as you are, not when it comes to the context of your life. Of course, they are the most important person in their life, as they should be, but why are they the most important in yours? Why are their views or wants or wishes dictating your life? Are you choosing to present like this for somebody else, while your own happiness goes uncared for? Saturn moves into Pisces and you feel that isolated grief that comes from nobody knowing the part you're playing because you're doing it so well. But there is something inside you, It's been growing for a while. Do I leave? Do I stay? Is this solid? Is it real? Is it not? And Saturn says, hey, instead of pretending, why don't we take a little time? Yeah, why don't we chill out? You know, because I said there's a real synergy here. It's across from you. You understand Piscean energy. Saturn is a heavy earth energy, right? You understand earth energy perfectly. You're smart. Saturn likes smart a lot. So the conversation's pretty simple. Hey, you're smart. Why don't you take a beat? Just sit with it. See how you feel. If you stop pretending, you might see how you feel, says Saturn. And Pluto comes in. Pluto in Aquarius comes in and goes, yeah. Excuse me. Feel it. Feel it. Now, when you feel it, there are many of you who will decide, actually, you know what? This is definitely worth holding on to. I've just been looking at it wrong. I've let my own fears of being hedged in keep me from being happy in something that could actually satisfy me. There are a lot of you who will come to that conclusion. And then there are also those of you who will think, yeah, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. I know on paper, I know according to my plan, I know these things should make me happy. I know this person should make me happy. But I'm not in love. This transit over the next 3 years is about finding a really solid emotional connection that's stable. It's not something for play. It's not something for out here. It's not something for the people. It's not for mass consumption. It's something real, and it's for you, and it steadies your life. Between the 2nd, from the 2nd to the 19th, we have Mercury there as well in Pisces. So you see how there's going to be a bit of an overlap. Saturn will be there. Mercury will still be there. In that time period, even though, of course, you would like to use that energy to kind of try to sort this stuff out, you can't rush this. This is going to take 3 years. It's a long-term project. But in the meantime, while you have Mercury there with Saturn, it's a really good idea to maybe just get some new money ideas on paper, maybe read a little bit into some new technologies, some new securities, some new, whatever your field is, whatever you're comfortable putting your money into, because, or maybe if you've been on the hunt for some new business ideas, some new streams of income, in that time period between the 7th and the 19th, it would be a great idea to just journal a little on these ideas, because you're going to come up with something pretty flashy that you can make quite a bit of money on. And that's cool because it'll take some of those subconscious fears away. You know, that's until Virgo reaches a certain level of wealth that they consider comfortable, not what we consider comfortable, not what the rest of us consider comfortable. Until then, it is something that plays in the back of your mind. It is a stressor. So even though this love stuff does come up the way that it does, because Saturn is moving into that sector of your life, it's still a good idea to just take 2 weeks and focus on your money, focus on being innovative, read more. You know, if you're invited out, go network more. All those things are going to bring you closer to the energy that's trying to get to you, to that good luck that's trying to get to you. And that's what's ultimately important to remember about March, is that you start to get those first feelings of, are things being taken away? I don't like this. Even if it's you being exposed to yourself as not having the feelings you once had, that does feel like a loss. It does feel like something that's being taken away from you. That confrontational truth being in front of you does feel like something being taken, right? Because once you, the way you're set up, once a door of understanding is open for you, you can't go back through the other way. Now you know what you know. That's it. So, yes, we do start to feel that You know, is there loss happening here? I don't know if I like that, but it's a restructure. It's not loss, it's restructure. And restructure, there are some things that are going to fall by the wayside. Trusting yourself through this is key. And in the extended, we're going to go into detail on the trust. So put a pin in that. Now on the 17th, you have Venus moving into Taurus. And then on the 20th, 3 days later, Venus meets the North Node in Taurus. So one, there's synergy there because they're an earth sign like you. And then on top of that, because you have these pretty heavy things you're weighing out in your mind, love, money, you know, how to make it bigger than you have, how to make more money, how to really listen to it, like get quiet enough to really listen to your heart. Throw in there with that the fact that Venus meets the North Node in Taurus and brings this spiritual element to it. And what's bestowed on you by the 20th is this pretty strict code. Like, if you act from this point on for the next 3 years in a noble way, in a way that you know is good, it's pretty smooth sailing. You'll have that epiphany by the 20th where you're like, oh, there is a way out of this. But, you know, we all have to be honest with ourselves. How far can I go down that road? Like, we're human, right? But you do have that moment, that aha moment of, okay, actually, there is a way around this. There is a workaround. It's not easy. And it's subjective, really. Like, what is nobility, right? What is it to be noble? And I think here what I mean is a sense of being magnanimous, being the bigger person. And I am the one who's given you shit so much for being the bigger person as a smokescreen. So people will kind of keep their distance from you. But now it would behoove you to be a bigger person, especially when it comes to money and finances. And those of you who already know this, those of you who know that a Virgo's luck in terms of money is tied to kindness and charity, you guys have like printing machines. Basically, you print money because you figured out the trick. And all of you can figure out the trick during these next 3 years, because that is it. For you, in Islam, we say any money that's given in charity is never, you know, it never takes away from your fortune. It only adds to your fortune. And I think this is something that Virgos inherently understand if they have a healthy relationship with money. The cool thing about Saturn coming into Pisces is that you will start to rehabilitate parts of your money energy as well. Because as you rehabilitate your connection to people, and abundance is abundance, whether it's love, money, whatever it is, you will start to build that trust again with the world as something that will give you something, as a source of giving that's positive, right? That helps you, that brings you joy. So on the 23rd, Pluto comes into Aquarius. Now, this is disruptive. This is a complete... When I tell you I love my job, this is disruptive. Because Pluto gives you a chance, you know? At the beginning of the month, you got time, and then on the 7th, Saturn comes in, you're like, oh gosh, this is, you know, then by the 20th, you kind of figure it out. You're like, oh, I just have to be really good to everybody, right? And on the 23rd, Pluto's like, hey, now that I've got this intellectual language to speak to you with, you know, I couldn't really get to you before, but now that we're here, how about we just like say fuck it and just do something completely different? And you, a Virgo, are like, what are you talking about? It's this like chaos of Mercury. It's the chaos that is Gemini's. If you are a Virgo that's been dealing with the Gemini, this chaos shows up as this Gemini and is like, you are choosing a new direction, and that's it. You deserve to be happy. You know what this is? Pluto moving into Aquarius? It's David Ames in Vanilla Sky. in the moment where he meets Penelope Cruz and his life changes, where he understands that everything he's done before then, every pleasure he's sought, every woman he's conquered, every thing that he's purchased, doesn't compare. He says, I was snowboarding through my life, but not anymore. And she says, well, when did you change? And he says, about 5 minutes ago. And she says, and you know this, every passing minute is a chance to turn it all around. So the movie's genius in that it opens with some very specific details, like the dream he has where all his possessions are there, but all the people are gone at the beginning of the film. Because that's what David loves. His things. Even his friendships are things. But then he meets someone who's not a thing. This Pluto in Aquarius for you takes everything that you've ever thought was cool and that you wanted to work towards and made you who you are, and it goes, really? Does it make you happy? And it will put something in front of you that actually makes you happy, and it's going to make you go, what do you think? Now, the interesting parallel with that movie is that what does David do? He does change trajectory. But man, those lingering habits, those lingering psycho-cybernetic settings, those lingering belief systems about who we are and who we wish we were, gets him back in that car that he shouldn't be in. And it ruins his life. You are being inspired in a new direction and you like it and you want it. But whenever this old you that's quickly becoming the old you rears its head, it will put you at a deficit on a road to real, genuine contentment, security, emotional security. I feel like Virgos spend their whole lives looking for that person to hold them down like they hold you down. But part of holding a Virgo down is going, hey, are these cups full? And they go, don't worry about those cups. I just want to take care of you. And you go, no, I get that. But are they full? You have to fight Virgos to take care of them and love them the way they deserve. Because if you even try, they're so grateful that you're even trying that they overlove you. They don't even want you to bother. It's okay. This is enough. No, it's not. That's how you end up burnt out. No, it's not. You see? This gets deep. This transit is big. So, in the extended, we'll talk about 4 things. I have them listed here because I don't want to forget the things, you know? Sorry, buddy. Trust yourself, the spiritual test, that's 1. 2, changing work, changing everything. 3, we didn't even talk about health. Healthy control over your body and what that can help mitigate. And then, last but not least, ooh, I know we're going to start with that one. That world-famous Virgo isolation that comes when things start to feel like they're falling down. I'm going to talk you out of that. I love you so much. This is not as scary as it seems. It's going to be great. Just a little chaotic. Love you. I'll see you in the extended. It's on Vimeo and Patreon. It's all in the info box below.